Exhaustion. Even the word is exhausting to hear. There's no doubt we all get exhausted from time to time. Okay, maybe daily for most of us. With the hustle and bustle of work, commutes, kids and maintaining life, it's okay to just want, or should I say need, a break every once in a while. But who knew there were actually different types of exhaustion, all requiring a different tactic to break away from? Welcome back, Psychos. Today we'll be presenting you with 5 types of exhaustion. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, as well as click the notification bell so that you never miss a video. Number 1. Mental exhaustion. The first and probably most common type of exhaustion can be referred to as mental exhaustion. If you're not a pro athlete or waitress, you probably feel this specific type of exhaustion after a long day of work. If you work your 9 to 5 sitting at an office, you probably experience this feeling Monday to Friday. It's the feeling you get when you haven't really moved your body much, yet you feel an overwhelming sense of defeat and tiredness once you get home and the chaos is quieted. With long hours of constant information processing, staring at a screen and lack of physical movement, mental exhaustion can creep in before lunchtime rolls around. In fact, the human brain isn't really designed to keep up with the long demanding hours of focus and information processing that we put it through. Unfortunately, with the demands of life, a lot of us feel like we need to be go, go, go all the time, pushing ourselves past the limits of our natural focus capacity. Mental exhaustion can also come into effect after long hours of watching TV, scrolling through our phones, and even reading for a long period of time. Our phones specifically are constantly reminding us of our personal and professional obligations, keeping us under constant pressure, leading to increased mental fatigue. We all know the feeling of mental exhaustion, but how does it actually play a role in the efficiency of the work we produce? Well, the type of exhaustion is often riddled with the inability to concentrate to our full capacity, decreased feelings of motivation and creativity, and temporary interruption to our short-term memory. In other words, your mental exhaustion isn't beneficial to anyone, including your boss. Mental exhaustion can accumulate over time, which is why so many of us are so eager to be able to turn off on the weekends. If you have an underlying sense of mental exhaustion before you even get your day started, you're due for a reset. And the best reset is to try taking a week or 2 break of complete disconnected from the world. Yes, that includes your smartphone. Although it sounds nearly impossible, if you can push yourself to do it, this reset can do wonders for your mental state. Number 2. Emotional exhaustion. This type of exhaustion usually comes in bouts throughout our lives, usually related to emotionally taxing situations. These situations can be anything from consistent friction in a relationship to a period of grieving over the loss of a loved one. All of these emotional tragedies can be taxing on our emotional energy, not to mention extremely distracting. This feeling of emotional exhaustion can be accompanied by feelings of having nothing left to give, or like you're pouring from an empty cup. When your emotional energy is lowered, you are usually down with a low mood and can often cause minor symptoms of anxiety and depression. The recharging of the emotional exhaustion usually requires more than just a little R&R, compared to the other 4 types of exhaustion because of the complex underlying reason behind it. Taking a few weeks off can help anyone clear their heads and recharge their energy levels. However, for someone dealing with emotional wounds, time alone can be exhausting, as it just gives us more time to dwell with our thoughts. To really get to the bottom of the emotional exhaustion, it's best to talk to a loved one or a professional to make it easier to make decisions and long-term lifestyle changes to help avoid it in the future. Number 3. Physical exhaustion. Physical exhaustion, in a healthy way, can be the best type of exhaustion. A little rest and relaxation and you're good as new. This healthy type of exhaustion can come from a long workout, a long day of waitressing, or a day in the life of a stay-at-home mum. We see you hustlers. This type of physical exhaustion can come with a sense of reward, making the exhausting event worth your while. And then on the flip side, there is the unhealthy type of physical exhaustion. This is where we feel overworked, pushed past our limits, and not rewarded properly for the work we put in. I'm sure some parents can see themselves with this type of exhaustion at times as well, especially when they aren't even rewarded with a proper sleep through the night. This is the type of physical exhaustion you get from sleep deprivation, unhealthy habits, and taking on more responsibility than you can handle. This type of physical exhaustion can also be brought on by prolonged emotional or mental exhaustion, as the mental stress begins to take a physical effect on the body. Regardless if you find yourself on the positive or negative side of the physical exhaustion, the good news is that it's easy to fix. The feeling of sluggishness and irritability usually dissipates after a good night's sleep. However, if you are consistently experiencing physical exhaustion, it'd be a good idea to look to eliminate some physical draining aspects of your life. Also, listen to your body and avoid pushing its limits with stimulants like sugar and caffeine. Number 4. The lack of purpose exhaustion. This type of exhaustion is often overlooked and not taken seriously. In fact, it's known as one type of exhaustion that is the most difficult to point out within yourself, and even more difficult to address. Purpose exhaustion, or lack of purpose exhaustion, is the feeling of having all aspects of your life seemingly going well, but there is still an underlying feeling of something missing from your life. Because this type of exhaustion is a little under the radar, many people try to brush off this feeling of lack and ignore their persistent feelings of wanting more. The majority of us have a sense of guilt when we're asking for more in life because we feel as if we can't want more and still be grateful for the things we do have, which puts us on the path to future regret. This lack of purpose is not only exhausting, but it's actually a cry for help. It's your intuition knowing there's something better for you. And instead of repressing these cries for help or not operating life with a purpose, then it's time to reevaluate your future goals and your life plans. This change in future goals can be anything from taking a work-away vacation, going back to school, or experimenting with different hobbies or career industry through volunteering or low-risk opportunities. To identify this type of exhaustion, ask yourself questions. Are you really living life, or are you just going through your day-to-day merely existing? Did you follow your dream career path? Why did you stop some of the hobbies you once did? These types of questions will encourage the flow of self-reflection that can start the journey to adding purpose to your life. Number 5. Exhaustion from a disconnection of values. This last type of exhaustion is another one that is often intentionally swept under the rug to avoid uncomfortable decisions. Exhaustion from a disconnection of values, or values disconnection exhaustion, occurs when we are faced to compromise our character or set of beliefs and values in order to meet the high expectations placed on us by our outer obligations. This type of exhaustion is most prominent in the work sector of our lives, when we feel like we have to put on a corporate mask, so to speak, when we're at work, compared to when we're at home. Well, professionalism is one thing, and we all often act a little different at work than we do at home. But when we begin to have to override our own values at work in order to complete the job as expected, the process can become extremely draining and dreadful. A good example of this would be if someone were to be hired for a management position at a high-stress restaurant for their personal skills and organisation habits, only to find out a couple of months into the job that these skills are not only useless, but have to be kept at bay in order to get the job done. Your personable skills are looked down upon for being too nice, requiring you to scrap that value and become stern and unapproachable. And your organisational habits are thrown out the window because it takes too much time out of your day, so you begin working frantically as a result of being overloaded with responsibilities. You eventually find yourself hating the job, feeling uptight, being rude to your employees, working completely unorganised and feeling downright miserable. Eventually, this will create a sense of exhaustion and motivation towards your job and ultimately your entire life. All in all, exhaustion is a normal part of adulthood and shouldn't be seen as a negative. However, it also should never be ignored, especially if it's affecting your quality of life. That's it for today's video, Psychos. Comment down if you think you've experienced all 5 types of exhaustion mentioned today. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more Psycho videos. We hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next video.